Hey everybody, I am Joe Tobias, Washington State elopement photographer based in Seattle, and last spring, I don't even know if it's early COVID, mid-COVID, could even still be whatever. Anyway, I had the chance to go down to Seattle's International District to make some photos on a really clear and beautiful night. It's just going to be a good night of making photos there. I decided I was going to shoot on Portra 400, pushed to 800, mostly shooting on my Mamiya RZ67 and then using a Cinebloom from Moment 20%. And so that's the first set of photos here. We'll all have that same setup. These photos, we're going to make them based on this kind of evening time and be able to try to take advantage of the twilight light. Along with this, I met up with famed YouTube photographer and fashion photographer, VincentPerryJr. You've seen his work before. The dude is very good at what he does, and especially when it comes to the fashion stuff. But this night we were just out making some photos of landscapes and urban scenes and stuff like that. He hasn't had a chance to get his stuff developed yet, and so you'll just see my photos from this night. But if nothing else, it was just so fun to see somebody else's vision, to see the things that caught each other's eye, and then not only to be able to see what the other person made, but kind of feed off of each other and to be able to use that. And something that, like, I am definitely kind of a loner when it comes to photography. I don't go around, I don't work with people as often as I should, I don't have as many photo friends as I wish I did, at least not here in the Northwest. And so to have an opportunity to go out and make photos with somebody else who is so talented was a really rewarding evening. As we kept working around, just so many of the scenes just kept jumping out to us, and it definitely was something that I felt like I was getting more and more comfortable with the colors, with the light, and with kind of the bloominess that came with the Cinebloom as these photos came along. And just really happy with them. Also, just like, it's so different working with the tripod, which is not something I do very often, and so it was really fun. I really love these kind of sets here just because the colors feel so light, or so true to life, but just the way that those highlights bloomed so nicely with the Cinebloom, matching that with the neon in the windows and the warm light coming out of the restaurants really balanced out super nicely. And that reflection there, just is one of my favorites of the night. Just came together so perfectly. So then I finished up that first roll and decided to do another roll of Portra. This time I added on the Lens FX Prism filter here, which created that kind of cinematic, almost anamorphic look with these photos here. As you can see how it moves, and it's the way that the filter works is it screws on, but then you can slide it around and twist it, so that's why you can see how it moves. Mostly because you want it to look horizontal, or I don't know, maybe not, but that was what I was going for. And then in the end, I ended up stacking the Cinebloom back on top of it, both which would kind of soften, but also soften the whole scene. So I don't know, I felt it's a question that I don't know down the road. Maybe I'll want more of that anamorphic look at times, but in this, it really looked good in the softened one. Now, I absolutely love this little set here, both of the portraits I made here with Vince, with his kind of epic stare here, looking off into the light. You can see it reflecting his glasses in there. But also this neon that was in this restaurant here really came through nicely. And so you can see how it really, this time I think I was using those Lens FX but not vertical. I was kind of twisting with them around to see what other angles that they would create to kind of frame around Vince's face right into that portrait. Then went back over to photograph these plates and this neon wall sitting right there against there, and it just really came together in images that I'm really pretty happy with. Maybe a little bit dark, but it's kind of tricky to work with all those things at once in such a night scene. That one I had high hopes for, but it's just too dark in the bottom, so I feel like I could have done, I don't know, I needed to do a little bit better, maybe expose longer or something like that, or maybe it could have been scanned differently. But these ones, I don't know, it just feels like it's losing a little bit of detail in the lowers, so I can work on that. From there, we kept walking around, and I found this old Mercedes that just looked so good, popping off the scene there, which is really fun. And then Vince and I headed down near the light rail station, which had, at that point, just had so much light, which is interesting because here it's so much white light. Before it was a lot more of a mix or kind of on the yellow scene, and so it just came out in a very different way. Still trying to find ways that we could make interesting light and interesting lines to match it all together. I do really like this portrait of Vince, just the way that the Prism FX flare really throws it through there. Then, as I was calling it a night, I started walking back to my car, and this one sign, which is my favorite, this one that says Hong Kong, it had been off before when we'd walk by, but it was on and just looked so bold and so brilliant popping off of the scene. So by this time I'd switched over to Lomo 800 film and was using that to photograph this scene here. And I still had the Prism FX on there, probably the Cinebloom too, just to be able to soften things up a little bit, and so I could really have the white there flare out, but then get those horizontal lines. Just came together in a way that finding those images to be really pleasing. But it was a really fun way to finish up the night and to keep making photos, to laugh, to joke, to talk shop, and to do it in a way that was different, was something that I hadn't done a whole lot of before and would really love to find the opportunity to do a little bit more of down the road. But I just want to say thanks definitely to Vince for meeting up with me and for making this happen. I hope that we can make our paths cross again. We can do this sometime soon. And thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you around.